I've got a theme this week, and the theme is money. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about money is because, without doubt, it is probably the biggest barrier that people perceive in their lives. So I'm doing this live on Instagram, but I'm also recording this also in StreamYard, so I'm going to put this on YouTube later on. So if you're watching it on YouTube, know that I was doing this live on Instagram. So if I start saying hello to people, that's the reason why. Caroline, welcome. So why am I talking about money? Well, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. And it harks back actually to when I broke. And when I broke and felt abandoned, and I entered a mental health system that didn't provide me with the answers that I needed. That caused me a real issue, right? Because I had this belief, this set of rules that if you worked hard, that you would get that recompense in money, in purpose, and all the rest of it. And I came to realize at the point that I broke that wasn't true. And if you saw my post yesterday, I talked about the fact that people's perception around money, around wealth, has been programmed into you to keep you a slave in a system. Okay, so if you're in that middle ground where you're working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week in a job that you don't like, and there never seems to be enough month left at the end of the money, then I get it. I've had to do a lot of work on my beliefs around money, accessing money, and I wanted to look at five areas of life and see if I can change your perception of money. Now, here's my top tip. Any challenge that you have in your life can easily be resolved by changing to one word, and that is energy. Now, I could go on a whole woo-woo, quantum physics, spirituality. I can talk about all of that sort of stuff when I use energy, but let's keep it to science, right? Everything is energy. If you think about it, as humans, we are a chemical, electrical, biological blob, and atoms all put together that we perceive as being humans. And I actually did an immersion. You can get on my website. If you go to makelifecount.co.uk, click on hypnotherapy audios. There's a free audio there called The Four Thieves of Happiness, which kind of introduces you to this concept of consciousness and that you're not your body and your energy. So whenever I work with clients, I always say, whatever the challenge is, change it to energy. So I've got five myths, five things that people tend to say when it comes to money, which is all to do with your programming, okay, your subconscious program, your beliefs from society. And I'll go on to that in a second. But who here, drop a comment, that's me, if any of these come up with you, right? So there's not enough money. Okay, there never seems to be enough money. Money's bad. Now, this is a big one. So if you're the kind of person who believes that you want to do good in the world, but you find it really hard to receive money, to put your prices up for the services that you offer, I'll come on to that one in a second, right? Good people shouldn't have money, okay? Because we equate all these people with wealth as, oh, they're not like me. They screw people over. Money doesn't grow on trees. I mean, theoretically it does because it's made out of paper and we get paper from trees. But that whole adage of you've got to work hard, you've got to hustle to get money, to bring abundance into your life. And only privileged people have money, all right? So, you're born rich. Okay, I'm from a working class background. I don't have money. And I absolutely dig into all of these, and certainly the last one, because it doesn't matter how clever you are, how much you want to serve the world, how brilliant you are, okay, unless you're in the environment. Aristotle said it, show me the boy between the age of 0 to 7, and I'll show you the man. And the people that you surround yourself with absolutely will impact not just your relationship to money, but your relationship to life. So let's go back to what I said about energy and change that word money to energy. Because when we change it to energy, we have a different perspective. So let's look at the first one. There is not enough money. So you don't have enough money. So let's say that one. I don't have enough money. It's one of the objections that most people say when it comes to getting support and help. All right. And a lot of people say, well, the NHS is free. No, it's not. It's free at point of entry. However, that comes with a caveat, right? That it might be free, but you're going to wait 12, 18 months before you get any help. It's not free. There's an energetic exchange. All right. So there's not enough money. There's not enough energy. So if you think about it, nobody wants money. Money has no tangible reason to exist. I noticed this when I've done coaching and people get, if I had more money, I'd be able to bring this into my life. If I had money, I would be able to do this, that, and the other. What you want is the thing that money provides. It's energy. Okay. But so if you focus on the thing you want rather than the money to get the thing that you want, that's the key. Money is bad. Energy is bad. Energy is not bad. There is bad energy, and there's a lot of bad energy that's surrounded by money, which again, I'll come on to in a second, when I show you the way in which society has constructed our perception of success. But money is bad. Energy is bad. No, it's not. Good people shouldn't have money. Good people shouldn't have energy. Damn right, good people shouldn't have energy. Because if good people have energy, how much better would the world be? Think about that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Energy doesn't grow on trees. Well, if you think about it from that point of view, what do trees provide? Oxygen. And we perceive money as the oxygen to allow us to live our lives. Energy absolutely does grow on trees. Only people with privilege have wealth. Only people with privilege have energy. Not necessarily true. I work with a lot of C-suite executives, people who have money, but they're not happy. So there is not a direct correlation between money and happiness. In fact, there are probably lots of billionaires out there who are miserable. They may have accrued a lot of wealth and a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean they're happy. What does the Beatles say? Can't buy me love. So let me give you the measure of success in the West. Okay? And tell me that we've not been indoctrinated as slaves. Now, I'm not here to preach. One of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people that talk on this subject of money, the majority of them do come from privilege. They may have a story where they were unfulfilled. They may have a story where they didn't come from a good background. One of the things I noticed is most of them are university educated and have the network. And as soon as they had the realization around abundance, growth, and all the rest of it, they had the thing that most people don't have, which is as an environment which supports that growth mindset. I am a working class lad from the Northwest. I don't come from money. Okay. I don't come from money. I've not been a top level CEO. One of the reasons why when I work with executives and when I work with high top performers who have had that privilege is that I can give them the insight as to why their business isn't running properly, why their life isn't running properly, because they have had the privilege of money. Okay, so here's success. And this applies, or our perception of success, this applies to everybody who follows this pattern. Okay, so we are born with an infinite mindset of possibility as babies. Okay, we're actually quite narcissistic. We expect to be loved. We expect to be fed. We expect to be cared for. Okay, that is what we come onto here, and we expect that to happen. Now, over the first 4 years, if we're lucky, let's take a lucky child into a loving home, and that loving child then will play for maybe the first 4 or 5 years of their life. They'll go out, they'll play, they'll have toys. And then they'll enter the school system. Now, I'm not going to talk about private education, but what I'm going to do like state education, normal education. We now get funneled into an education system that now says that we have to conform to a certain amount of rules. So we're now starting to be programmed into what it is like to be a human. Okay, what we should do to create connection and success. All right. Now, academia is really, really important, but actually school, the majority of the time, is putting information in and being able to pull that information out. Okay, there's no entrepreneurial stuff in the education system. It is a tick box exercise where we have to set a certain set of standards that have been set by people we don't even know. They're just opinions. That's all they are, right? So we recognize that happens. So then as we go through school, if you talk to a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, what do you want to do when you grow up? They don't go, I want to be a millionaire. They don't say, I want to be a hedge fund manager. They don't say any of that, right? What they say is this. They say, I'd like to be a ballerina because they like music. They like to dance. I want to be an artist because they like to paint. I want to be a musician because they like to sing. And slowly but surely, all of those things that bring us purpose, joy, and meaning get eradicated because we're told, go to secondary school, get your GCSEs, whatever that is in America, then go to get college, get your A levels, then go and get a degree, because a measure of success is somebody going, bang, you've passed an exam, therefore you are. And the reason we do that is because we then say, oh, well, if you get a degree, then that means you'll get a better job. Now, yes, in some ways, and by the way, I don't agree that if you've got a degree, that means that you're good at doing the job. It just means that you can learn. That's by the by, but taking nothing against anybody who's got a degree. Once you've got that degree, you then go into a job that's going to pay you a salary, that by the time you're 75, you can retire, and then hopefully you can start living your life again. Now, that system does work for some people. Those people who are willing to sacrifice their time for some money that allows them to have maybe a nice house and allows them to, it does work. You know, it does work for people. It doesn't give you an amazing life where you can travel and be free, okay? But it might allow you to pay the bills, and we're stuck in this rut, okay? Stuck in this rut that we can't get out of. Now, the problem here now is we go, well, if I don't like that, I now feel shame and guilt about the fact that I don't feel as though I've got purpose. There's a reason why the majority of suicides within men, 75% of all suicides are male, by the way, and I was merely one of those statistics, because between the age of 0 and 8, 80% of your beliefs around anything, including money, are set. There's a reason why privileged people stay rich, because they're around a mindset and a heart set and an understanding of money. Okay. Between the age of 8 and 18, another 10%. And then between 18 and 30-ish, we're pretty much programmed. Hence the reason why the time we get into our mid-30s, people start to go through a midlife crisis, right? But the problem is, you're already in the system now. You've got a mortgage, you might have kids, so you're trapped. You are literally enslaved in that system. Now, that isn't true, but the whole money aspect of that are the handcuffs, the shackles that we wear, because we have this belief that we need money to do this. But if we change that round to be energy and say, I'm really not happy, how can I bring more energy into my life? That changes the game completely. Now, one of the rules of the mind is that the mind loves the familiar. It does that for a reason. So the way in which your mind works, without going into too much science, but any neuroscientists on here will back me up on this, is that when you create a new behavior in your life, okay, repeated behavior, then that the mind and the brain takes a lot of energy. It's the biggest energy resource that we have. So what happens is that a repeated behavior then goes into the subconscious mind and becomes a program that runs in the background. And that is for anything, including money. What we need to be able to do is to disrupt that. We need to be able to disrupt that. We need to be able to get into the vault of the subconscious mind to be able to understand where that belief came from. Now, for me personally, a lot of my challenges around money was nothing to do with money. It was very much around, well, this is who you are. We don't go around with those people. We don't do that. But here's the irony. When I started to hang around with people who, when I say have money, what I mean is they're people that don't flaunt it. They're people that are genuine, beautiful people that are doing great things in the world. And as a result of that, they have the self-worth to say, this is how much I charge, because they know how good they are. My mind completely changed around this because it was nothing to do with money. It was more to do with self-value and self-worth. So when I started practicing as a coach and as a hypnotherapist, my subconscious belief was, who am I to do this? I don't have a degree. I'm not a doctor. How can I help people with PTSD? Right? That wasn't my logical, because I'd been through that process, but subconsciously what I'd learned was that I wasn't worthy of that exchange of money. As soon as I flipped that switch, I stopped going on conversations and people saying, oh, I haven't got enough money to do this. I can't afford your services. You should do it cheaper. You should do it for free. Because I used to get really upset with people saying that, oh, you don't see my value. No, it's nothing about them not seeing my value. It's about me not seeing my value, because it's an energetic exchange, right? So when you work with somebody, one of the things that I would often say is, if you went into the supermarket, Sainsbury's, Asda, Tesco, Walmart, whatever, would you go in there and just pile your food high and then walk out with it? No, you get arrested. Why? Because the farmers have put energy into producing that food. The production people who package it all up have put energy into that. The shop have put it on the shelf. They've put energy into that. So for that energy that's been put in to produce that food, to make it convenient for you, you have to pay for it. And I think that we would all appreciate that. If you had a problem with your car and you went to a mechanic, you would expect that you'd have to pay for the skills. And there's a beautiful story about this. I think it was Pablo Picasso who was scribbling a sketch very quickly. I think it was on a napkin. It was in a cafe. And I think he either threw it away, or I can't remember what it was. I can't remember the exact story or whether it's even true. But somebody came up and said, can I have the drawing? And he said, basically said it's like 30,000 euros or something. It wasn't that, because euros weren't around then. And the person said, well, it took you 10 seconds to draw that image. And Picasso turned around and said, it took me 30 years to know how to draw that quickly. And often we equate time for money. So we work by an hourly rate. That's rubbish. You don't get money for valuing yourself by time. You value your money based on your skill. But if we value somebody based on the time that they spend to do things, then we don't actually have an appreciation of their skill. We're just paying them for their time. So when it comes to things like therapy, the majority of therapists you will go and see for an hour. So I'm going to pay £35 an hour, for example, to see a counsellor. But what is the value of that energetic exchange? So I had a client who'd been in therapy for years. I think we calculated it that they'd spent £13,000 over a period of how many years, and they still hadn't resolved the problem. So £13,000 in therapy, going every week, and still hadn't resolved it. In one session, they came to me, okay, and that session was that was resolved, because we went to the root cause, went to the subconscious mind to find the root cause of that feeling. But here's the interesting thing. Before they onboarded, because they were only paying £35 an hour or whatever it was they were paying, they complained that I was too expensive. At the end of that process, though, I think at the time, this was probably a few years ago. I think I charged them £600 or something like that for a 21-day package. So I don't charge by the hour. They'd spent over £13,000 because that was familiar. That's what you do. You go for therapy, you go for coaching every single week, right? And they'll say, oh, this will take 2 years. The mind is so complicated. It's not, when you know how. But the mind loves the familiar. So they were willing to part with that little bit of cash, that drip feed of cash over several years. But when they totted it up, it was costing them a fortune. Smoking clients are another one. Not that I deal with that many smoking clients now, but I don't know how much a packet of cigarettes is now. Let's say it's £12. Okay. And you spend £120 a month on that. So let's say £1,500 a year on smoking. It's easy to pay that £12, right? And smoke. But when you go, well, we can help fix that and it's going to cost X amount. Oh, that's too expensive. It's not. Expense is only based on the energetic exchange that you get. And when something is unfamiliar, this is why we use money as an excuse not to live our dreams. I've just invested in a new coach, Josh Dexter. I'll tag him in on this one. Okay. Now, to work with Josh, it's not £35 an hour. It's a significant investment over 6 months that I'm going to be working with him. But my relationship with money was about me speaking to him and understanding what he does and the value and the energy exchange that I can have, and asking one question. And this is the question that I always ask. If I am spending that money, what is the energy exchange that I'm hoping to get? Now, there are never any guarantees with an energy exchange, right? So you might buy a brand new car, it looks beautiful, drives really, really well. And then for the next 2 years, it's in the garage every 5 minutes. Any Land Rover owners out there? I love Land Rovers, by the way, but I know that's an experience that some people have. My point is, though, is that you'll actually put up with poor service if it's familiar. You will, why do people go to McDonald's? Nothing against McDonald's, but it's genuinely crap, non-nutritious food. But why do we go there? It's familiar. There's nothing happy about a Happy Meal. Why don't you go and support a local cafe that's doing really, really good fresh local produce? Because it's unfamiliar and you don't believe that it's available to you. So although this is around money, this week I'm talking about money, I want you to think about having a different relationship with money. And whenever you use money as an excuse for not doing something, I want you to change the word money to energy and say, can I afford not to put that energy in? What will that energy exchange be if I do that? And it will completely change your relationship, A, with money, and B, with the decisions that you make. Money is important. But remember, money has no intrinsic value at all. The only value it has is an energetic exchange. And all you need to know is the value of that energy exchange going to benefit me to have a happier, more abundant, more purposeful life? And what energy am I giving away to keep me where I am? So I hope that helps. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to give some more top tips this week about this, but I'm also going to do a hypnotherapy recording, an immersion, which is free. So if you don't know, one of the things that I'm going to start to do now is on my website, makeyourlifecount.co.uk/change-starts-today. Links in my bio. If you go on there every week, there's going to be a blog and there's going to be a free hypnotherapy recording. So you can pop over there. It's free. Why am I giving that energy exchange away for free? I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why is that I want to empower people to change their life. I want to empower people to know that they have choices in their life, and that understanding how that energy exchange works is really, really important. So if you've got any questions on this, if there's anything you want me to cover on this week, then drop a comment in here. Feel free to DM me. If you want to WhatsApp me, if you want to book in for a call, you can do. Everything's on my website, makeyourlifecount.co.uk. But let's get a conversation going around money. Let's get a conversation going around energy. What energy do you need to bring into your life? What is it? What's the next step? Even if it's a little step, what's the next thing that you need to know to bring more love, more peace, more freedom, more abundance into your life? Let's get this going, because I want to really truly help people to understand that you don't have to stay where you are, but you do have to take action, and you do have to focus your energy in the right place. So I hope that was useful. Let me know what you think, but let me know, what are your thoughts around money, what are your beliefs around money, and how can you bring more energy into your life? And if you want to come and work with me, please do. Pop over to makelifecount.co.uk and you can find out what I do, who I help, and why my clients start to find the root cause to why they feel the way they do, so they can empower their own lives and bring in the abundance that they really need.